Hey everyone, Alicia here. Today we're going to talk about, you guessed it, ADHD. So a couple of years ago, my daughter and I discovered that we had ADHD. But what does that mean? I'm going to break it down and give examples in each video that I do. Now this is a place where I'm going to be sharing real life examples, tips, and research. I am not a doctor, nor do I pretend to be. This information is from yours truly, so if you have questions about yourself after watching this video, then I would say the best step for you to take is to go and speak with your doctor or therapist. Okay, so I'm not going to break down what ADHD is in this video alone. That's going to take too long. I am going to just give you a quick example of what ADHD is. Think of an entire wall full of cubbies. That's ADHD. ADHD has cubby holes of symptoms. It could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, many symptoms. Now some people have all the cubby holes of symptoms of ADHD and some have just a couple. My daughter and I, we have a lot of them. No matter how many cubbies or symptoms that you have, it can be challenging to manage your day-to-day alone. So my hope is to share these tips and hopefully be able to connect with the community. The first cubbyhole that I want to break down is auditory processing. Auditory processing is a cubbyhole of ADHD, but it has subsections in there. Think of the cubby having shelves of symptoms itself. For example, auditory processing affects our ADHD brain's ability to understand speech in noisy environments, follow instructions, or focus. Okay, so let's break down the noisy environment category. I don't mean a rowdy classroom or an office full of chatty coworkers. That's a distraction enough for anybody who doesn't have ADHD. Let's go to the park. For those of you who don't have ADHD, what do you hear? Some birds, laughing families. Okay, cool. For those of us with ADHD, this is what we hear. You have the wind, dogs, chatter, laughter, birds, cars, sirens, airplanes, specific conversations from families that are a good distance away that a non-ADHD brain normally doesn't hear. Now imagine anyone trying to speak to you. Do you think you'd be able to focus and pay attention to what they're saying? I don't think so. It can be disorienting to say the least. When I was in the classroom, I would hear the teacher sipping her coffee, the pencils scribbling on the paper. I would hear the chairs wiggling from the kids that were a little antsy and couldn't wait to go to recess. I would hear the coughs or the murmurs from the kids who were trying to whisper to their, classmate next to them. It would be annoying when I would hear all the pages turning and the noise just got so loud during a test and it was supposed to be quiet, and anybody else would think that that was silence. But for me, I was paralyzed in all of these sounds. It actually brought my daughter and I closer together because we connected on so many levels, because it's the same for her. She experiences the same thing. My daughter's IEP program got me thinking. I was told that she needed to have a quiet environment. But what does that mean? What does it look like? What are the specifics? What works for her and for me? Noise canceling headphones work. We play soft classical music in the background while we do a task, do homework, clean, work. It actually engages our focus and we turn on that hyper-focus superpower, as we call it. This past year was my daughter's last year in a brick and mortar campus. Because of the pandemic, she actually was remote and excelled for the first time in her life. And we know why. We set up a working environment that works best for her. Now, what about the kids with ADHD who go back to the brick and mortar campus? It's time for the school to invest in noise canceling headphones. Sending them to a smaller group size of 10 kids or less is not enough, because they're still going to hear all those little micro sounds that nobody else can hear. Sending them to the corner of the room with cheap headphones and a cardboard box to block their view is not enough. In fact, it's more distracting. It's embarrassing, and then they're left in the corner alone wondering what's wrong with them. Why are they getting this different attention? Not better, but different. What about outside the working environment or school? The best thing you can do is go when it's not busy. We live in a town that tourists love to come to. We have forests, we have beaches, we have parks. So what do I do to stay away from the crowd? I learn to go when I know it's not busy. I know that the sounds will distract me I know that many people will distract my daughter. The sounds will become deafening. So why put ourselves through that? Go when it's not busy. Everyone will benefit in the end by tweaking the schedules. Most importantly, show kindness. We are all born differently, and normal is different for everyone. Comment below and let me know how these tips help you or a loved one. Later.